Joining us now for more on this is Strategic Analysis Australia Director Michael Shoebridge. Michael, good to catch up. Thanks for joining us. How can Labor be so sure that AUKUS is still in the bag, given we're not willing to lift defence spending?
Danica, he can't be sure. Richard Marles is hearing what he wants to hear, and he's living in a very deluded world. He goes on about the historic level of defence spending. That's only true when it comes to dollars. When it comes to the share of our economy we're devoting to defence, it's a very low percentage historically. He knows that. So he's hearing from the Pentagon what he wants to hear. The Pentagon is looking at this government's defence plans, and they know that the plans cannot be afforded for 2 to 2.3% of our GDP. New Zealand is spending 2% of GDP on defence now under their new Prime Minister. And guess what? They're not thinking they can have a very small military and add nuclear submarines into the mix for that budget. So Richard Marles has some novel form of mathematics that is undiscovered and unknown to the rest of the world if he thinks his defence plan makes any sense.
I think Jim Chalmers has the same novel form of mathematics as well. The White House is considering inviting Ukrainian President Zelensky to Trump's highly anticipated face-to-face meeting with Vladimir Putin in Alaska next week. That would be quite the face-off if it was to happen, wouldn't it, Michael?
I think that would be the best thing for that meeting because, as it stands, Donald Trump looks like he's been set up by his special envoy, Steve Witkoff, who met with Putin and brought back what he thought was what Putin was offering, but he's since given about 3 or 4 different versions. So Trump would be going into that meeting without any actual clarity about what Putin is going to put on the table. Having Zelensky there means you've got the two warring parties who must agree sitting in the room.
And on the other side of it all, European officials, they've responded to a ceasefire proposal put forward by Putin, rejecting a plan to trade Ukrainian-held parts of the Donetsk region for a ceasefire. Michael, I mean, naturally, Europe wants ironclad security. That is the number one demand out of all of this. Will they get it, realistically?
No, Putin has no... he's offered nothing that shows an end to Russian aggression. What he's said is, hey, why don't you give me the chunks of southern Ukraine, Donetsk in particular, that I'm having trouble conquering? Why don't you give me Ukraine's best fortified areas that have helped them defend against my attacks for me giving you a temporary ceasefire, perhaps not even on the front lines, only of the rear areas? So Putin is offering nothing besides a way for him to continue the war more successfully. And the Europeans know rewarding Russian aggression is bad for the whole of Europe.
Michael, just before we let you go, I wanted to ask you about Donald Trump and the possibility of a Nobel Peace Prize. I mean, the US president is certainly working overtime on conflicts right around the world and has seen quite a bit of success even as recently as this week. What are the chances that he will be recognised for his efforts?
Well, I think while the war between Israel and Hamas is still going and the war between Russia and Ukraine is still going, those chances are remote. And Putin is in he has no mind about turning. He doesn't want to end the war except by conquering large chunks of Ukraine he doesn't hold yet. And Hamas, they only want to do a deal that leaves them in control of Gaza, releasing the last Israeli hostage as they hoist their victory flag. So I think the prospects are bleak at this point.
Michael Shoebridge, always appreciate your analysis. Thanks so much for joining us.